Hello, welcome to Technical Founders. My name is Carlos Lara, software engineer and entrepreneur, and in this video, we will be learning about phase 3 of customer validation, and this is called Develop Positioning for your company and its product. Now, what is positioning? Positioning is where your product or service stands in a marketplace, in the mind of a customer relative to its competitors. Now, at this point, you have some preliminary sales. You've been selling to customers. You went through customer discovery, and you learn about your customers a lot. So you have a deep understanding of why customers buy your product and where your product stands in the marketplace. So let's go right into it. So the first part A, is the product positioning. Now, a lot of tech startups usually want to hire a professional marketing company to help them with the product positioning, with the initial product positioning. However, who is in the best position, in an ideal position to understand where the product is positioned in the marketplace? Who has been talking to customers? Who has been getting to know customers? Who has been selling to customers? Who has gone through all this pain? It's really the customer development team. It is the customer development team's job to develop the product positioning, and they are in that perfect situation because they really understand deeply the customer's problems and needs. Now, the product positioning is a function of market type. Now, if you haven't watched that video, please watch it. It's in the same series. It's called The 4 Types of Startup Markets. So, for example, if your startup is in an existing market, then what you need to do with your product positioning is compare your product to your competitors. It's an existing market. You have competition, obviously. Sometimes entrepreneurs, you ask them, who's your competition? And they say, oh, we don't have competition. If I were in the Shark Tank, I would say, I'm out immediately. So anyway, compare your product to your competitors, be very honest about that, and also describe how some feature or attribute of the product is better or faster than your competitors. So here we're talking about an incremental improvement. This product gives an incremental improvement. So the other type of startup market is a new market. Maybe you're not in an existing market. Maybe you're creating a brand new market. Now, if you're in a new market, you have to describe the problem that your product will solve. Because here's the thing, if it's a new market and it's new disruptive technology, maybe customers don't quite get it, don't quite understand it. But what you can do is explain the problem they have and the benefits that the customer will get from solving the problem with your product or service. Now here, this is not just an incremental improvement like you were in an existing market, but this is a transformational improvement. This is disruptive, essentially. The improvement is at least 10x. And I highly recommend the book 0 to 1 by Peter Thiel. And the other type of startup market is a resegmented market. So it's an existing market, but you resegment it. And there's 2 ways to resegment, as we cover in the video that I mentioned. So again, you're going to compare your product to your competitors because it's an existing market. But for example, if it's low-cost resegmentation market, then you just describe price and features. Price especially is what's most important in this case. Now, if it's niche resegmentation, then you're going to describe how some feature or attribute of the product actually solves the customer's problem in a way that no other product or service can. This is very, very important. Now, you will, of course, describe the benefits of solving the problem in this new way. Now, the outcome of this, of part A of the product positioning, the outcome is to develop a 1-page document, a brief, covering the product positioning and its rationale. So you need to be very intelligent about it and really flesh it out, but condense it. Keep it simple, short, in just a 1-page brief. Now that brings us to the next one. After you have that, then we come to company positioning. Now, what is the difference between product positioning and company positioning? So the product positioning brief focuses on the attributes of the product, the particular features of the product, and the company positioning is actually seeks to answer this question: why does your company exist, and how is it different? Because again, even if it's a new market, there's still competitors, there's still other startups. So why does your company exist, and why is it different? So it's very important to answer that question. Now, again, this is kind of, we'll come to that, to mission statement, but this is a way to unify all the stakeholders. Now, here in company positioning, you want to write a simple statement about how the company is positioned in this market, in your market type, And always keep the customer in mind. Now, this is probably the biggest mistake marketers make, is always talking about themselves. So this is my product, this is our service, this is what we want, this is what we need. And that kind of message, I'm telling you right now, that never resonates with any kind of audience. Like, this is not genuine. It's really sales. This is sales. Marketing has a sales component to it, meaning you're trying to persuade, you're trying to attract customers into your business, or you're trying to attract stakeholders or investors. Now, you can't be talking about yourself. You have to always keep the customer in mind. Now, let me give you an example. So have you ever seen those ads by Coca-Cola? Like, for example, the movie theater? Do they show you the actual product, the Coca-Cola, the drink? Do they show you that? Well, of course they do. But how do they show it? They show you their customers, happy, smiling customers. These customers look like their dreams have come true, like they're financially free or something. They look just so happy, and they're interacting, and as they go about their happy lives, they're sharing and having the Coke. So you see how they're presenting the product, but at the fundamental level, they're conveying the customer's hopes and dreams realized because of this product. I know it sounds a little exaggerated, but this is really what the best marketing, the companies that do the best marketing, this is what they do. They position the company around the customer's hopes, goals, and dreams. And this is how you should approach marketing. Always keep the customer in mind. If you show, and I'm going a little bit on a tangent here, but real quick. So for example, let's say you're going to show an ad. Don't show your product. Don't talk about yourself. In the copy, when you do the copywriting, don't talk about yourself. Talk about the customers, maybe their problem, their hopes and dreams, and position the company around them and around that. And here you're in a perfect position to know what are your customers or potential customers' hopes, dreams, and goals, because you've gotten to know them. You've gone through customer discovery. You have really gotten to know and understand deeply your customers. And by the way, if you're doing this, you already have an edge over 99% of entrepreneurs or companies out there, because no one does this really. This is very rigorous, but if you do it, your probability of success will be a lot higher. So again, write a simple statement, keep it short, and keeping the customer in mind, and have that statement match your mission statement. So in customer discovery, you wrote your mission statement, and the mission statement is very important. This is what you do, why you do what you do daily, on a daily basis. So in a relatively short term, so why we're doing what we're doing. So you want to make sure that they match the company positioning brief, which is the outcome. By the way, it's a one-page brief, just like in product positioning. Describing the company positioning and its rationale, you want to make sure that matches the mission statement, because you want consistency. Because also, for all the marketing, because we already touched on marketing, so all the marketing that you're doing, your marketing messages, so you may be doing blogs, you may be doing blog posts, maybe Facebook ads, you may be doing, all kinds of marketing things that you could be doing, marketing initiatives that you could be doing. You want to make sure that the marketing message is consistent across all of these different kinds of marketing that you're doing. So you want to make sure that the product positioning brief and the company positioning brief match. Actually, they're aligned, and all the sales that you do are going to be consistent. Again, you're trying to appeal to a certain kind of customer. You're not trying to go for the whole market yet. You're still getting early adopters, visionary customers, early evangelists. So you want to make sure that your marketing message is consistent. And again, sales presentations, website, everywhere the message needs to be the same. It needs to resonate clearly. Again, keeping the customer always in mind. Now, the third part here in phase 3 is now you're going to make presentations to analysts and influencers. So what are analysts? What are industry analysts? So typically these are professional firms in a particular that analyze an industry. They analyze the trends, they analyze new products, they analyze new services, new companies. They know what's new, they know what's coming. So there's people that their job, what they do is to analyze the industry trends. Essentially, they analyze the industry, where it's been, where it is, and where it's going. So that's industry analysts. Now, what are industry influencers? So industry influencers could be, for example, bloggers, could be YouTubers, they could be conference speakers, they could be what one of my mentor calls celebrity authorities. So people who are very well known in the industry, and they have respect in the industry. People value their opinion, people follow them. So influencers, why are they called influencers? Because they influence the marketplace, basically the industry where they are in, because they are typically experts. That's what they do, that's what they focus on. So you want to understand these two kinds of people, analysts and influencers, and you want to make presentations. So obviously you want to meet with them. And in customer discovery, if you did that step in customer discovery, you already have a list. Maybe you already met with them. Maybe you went to conferences, seminars, etc. So you may already have those contacts. So you need to meet them. And what is the outcome? What is the goal of this phase? The outcome is not just to meet with them. The outcome is to gather feedback, to gather insights about your positioning, your product positioning, your company positioning, product features, etc. So that is the goal here. That is the outcome. So obviously you need to have a list of questions prepared that you're going to ask them. And by the way, do your research before meeting with them. You don't want to meet with them and then during that meeting start to find out what their opinions are, or where they stand in the marketplace, or what they're into lately. You have to do your homework. You have to do your research and come prepared, and that will give you a lot more credibility, and your ability to sell. By sell, I mean the ability to influence them and get them to open up to you will be much higher. Now, obviously. So why is this important? Because if you can get analysts and influencers in the industry to talk about you and to maybe wildly enthusiastically talk about you, then what does that mean for your startup? Do you think that would be valuable? Absolutely. Especially if you're doing things like enterprise sales, like B2B enterprise sales. Typically in B2B, if you're selling enterprise software to a large company, typically it's going to be very difficult to get an order without having, for example, an industry analyst, someone well-known, some kind of celebrity authority in the industry, give an endorsement, essentially, and provide credibility for your startup. So very, very important. Now, develop a short script when you're reaching out to them to set up these meetings to talk to them. Just create a short script. Just basically tell them, you want to basically convey why they should meet with you, what's in it for them, etc. So again, yes, why should you meet? And now explain why your company is important. Again, why do you exist? Go back to your mission statement. Go back to your company positioning. Why does your company exist? Why is it important? Why should they care about you? Why should they potentially, ideally, talk about you to their audience? You're important in some way. You have a mission here. You are going to transform the industry somehow. You're going to make the industry or the world a better place. So things like that. You need to understand that. So again, to explain why your company is important, and very important here, please reference early customers. So at this point you have sales, you have early customers, you have customer discovery, you know all these things. Leverage them. Leverage all the work that you have been doing thus far to persuade them to basically talk about you and to give you credibility in the marketplace and persuade them that you are important. Explain, of course, the problem and the solution, because that's what you're doing. Customers have a problem, you have a solution, and then this just in a very simple way to describe it. And again, have a list of questions, because you want to gather intelligence about the marketplace. Because again, if you're meeting with bloggers, YouTubers, celebrity authorities, conference speakers, they know a lot about the industry more than anyone else. They're in that industry. That's what they do. That's what they study. That's what they write about. That's what they talk about. So they have a lot of valuable information. So you want to gather intelligence, ask them questions so you know more about the marketplace, maybe things that you didn't know before. So for example, you can learn about competitors, maybe someone's doing something similar. You can talk about your vision, how the vision that you have for your company, where the marketplace is going, how does that fit in this marketplace, in their opinion. Obstacles, what obstacles may you face, pricing of the product or service in the marketplace and going forward, etc. So gather just a lot of information. So again, the goal here, obviously here, you're not trying to sell them your product. That's not the point. The point is just to talk to them, to gather feedback and insights and get their professional opinion, and then hopefully and ideally get them to talk about you. You impress them, they think you're important, so they're making some noise in the marketplace talking about your company. And if they don't do that, or they don't want to do that, then ask and find out why, and iterate and learn from it. So, and once you've done this, once you have the feedback, once you have your positioning briefs now, and you have some early customer sales, now then you will be ready to move forward to the next step. So thank you for watching. If you have any questions, thoughts, comment below. Also, hit the subscribe button below so you're notified when new videos come out. And I will see you next time.